Lieutenant Colonel Lincoln S. Ferris here with my trusty Pie Pock. So let's talk a little bit about how cultural icons, link analysis, and the fact that you can use things other than money to finance and move things around is something that may definitely fall within the realm of CA. As always, these are my thoughts, not used KPOCs, DODs, or the US Armies. Cultural icons, link analysis, and why they matter. Kind of a neat thing. Let's get started. So why does CA care about the theft of cultural heritage? Let me tell you. And I'm going to use this example here. Picasso painted this painting in 1938, the Buste de Femme Dora Maar. So, Buste de Femme Dora Maar was painted in 38, hung in Picasso's house until he died in 73, was bought by various people until Sheikh Abdul Mohsin Abdulmalik al-Sheikh had it in 99 when it was stolen. Slightly sad, but I'll get to the point here in just a second. Now, it's not that very big of a painting, and it was valued at $7 million in 99. And it was recently recovered by a guy named Arthur Brandt, he's the one holding it there, and is currently valued at $28 million. Here's the so what. Once the painting was stolen in 99, it entered the criminal circuit, and it was used as collateral or to finance trade in drug deals and arms deals. It passed hands at least 10 different times in 20 odd years. So it was used as a repository of wealth, the same way you could use a house or a piece of land or something tangible. Mildly exciting that New York's Pace Gallery established the authenticity when this Picasso painting was recovered, but also present was Dick Ellis, the guy who founded Scotland Yard's Arts and Antiquities Squad. Dick said it's not only in the public interest to recover stolen works of art, you're reducing the amount of collateral that is circulating the black market and funds criminality. Collateral, because $7 million occupies a fair chunk of space, paintings much less, and it's easier to move a painting around. Moving money around in large denominations attracts the interest of all kinds of people. There's only so many banks that let you walk in with $1 million in cash and say, hey, I need to put this in a bank account. It's not like you can write a check to your drug dealer or to your arms dealer saying, here's 10 million bucks, let me have those AK-47s. But if you can use a painting as collateral or use it to affect the trade, much easier. Now, obviously, I changed things around so that this slide wasn't classified. But let's just say that some art thieves steal a painting and they sell it to a mid-level drug dealer who then uses it as collateral with his drug wholesaler or importer. Now, the drug wholesaler obviously needs weapons to make sure that he doesn't get robbed and lose his product. He buys them from, say, the Serbian mob, who in turn buys it from Hezbollah. So the drug wholesaler or importer gets his drugs from Afghanistan, and guess who takes a cut of that? And then, because he's got lots of cash, he sends his money verse to a Hawalandar, who kicks back a cut to, again, Al-Qaeda, and might also transfer money for the Haqqani Network or the People's Aman Committee or, again, Al-Qaeda. So you can see how one painting can be involved in all kinds of nefarious things with lots and lots of bad people, both on the criminal and the absolute straight-up terror side. And as civil affairs officers, we need to know these connections because we need to make sure that they do not impact the battlefield. Artwork, rare stamps, jewelry, coins, not as fungible as cash, but they have intrinsic value and they can be used as collateral, or they can be bartered for weapons, drugs, other supplies. The fungibility is somewhere between a house and diamonds. And as an example, ISIS did not destroy all of the non-Islamic artwork and iconography. They sold and traded and bartered between $4 and $7 billion of antiquities to keep them going. There are lots and lots of prohibitions against art theft, whether done during armed conflict, as the first one with the Hague Convention of '54, or all the way up to the Convention on Protection and Promotion of Diverse Cultural Expressions in 2005. But remember, funding a criminal enterprise and funding a terrorist network or insurgency network oftentimes uses the same exact mechanisms. There's other reasons CA needs to know about and protect antiquities. So back in 2003 in Iraq, the employees of the Iraqi National Museum looted the place. And guess who was blamed? U.S. soldiers. First, we were blamed for looting the place. Then we were blamed for not protecting it. And by the time we caught all the people who had done this, brought them to trial, returned the antiquities, the media was no longer interested in reporting that story. So we took the blame. And I bet you there's still people to this day that think U.S. soldiers looted the Iraqi National Museum. So why would anyone believe something as stupid as U.S. soldiers looted the Iraqi Museum? Well, look at these pictures. You got guys holding cash. You got guys holding gold bars. People can point to that and say, see, the reason we're poor is the U.S. soldiers took all our stuff. This is bad publicity. Letting soldiers take pictures of themselves holding, money and bullion from the Iraqi National Treasury gives people who are looking for a reason to blame the United States more ammunition. Along with PAO, you've got to work with the commander to make sure that you don't let Joe take pictures like this, because this makes it more difficult for us to do the job and ultimately more difficult for the combatant commander to achieve his mission objectives free of civilian interference. So, what do we as CA officers do? Well, one, culture. You got to know the culture. You got to know and encourage the protection of cultural heritage sites. Be aware of, discourage the appearance of cultural theft. Don't let Joe take a picture holding up some rare statue saying, look, I'm going to pack this up and send it off to mom. Criminal activities are often used by terrorist and anti-government forces. Funding is not as always as the simple transaction of money from one hand to another. There are lots and lots of ways to effect a transfer, either a barter, exchange of collateral, third parties. So you got to understand and apply link analysis or assist those who do with information so you can build a robust picture of what is going on within the civilian sphere to make sure that the civilians don't impact the combatant commander's objectives. All right, that was a fast one, but I hope you enjoyed it and you got the point. Now, as always, a book recommendation. Hezbollah by Matthew Levitt, The Global Footprint of Lebanon's Party of God. Since I mentioned Hezbollah, I figured I should give you some background for it. It's a really good book. Really gives you an idea of how Hezbollah came about, how they're funded and supported by Iran, and the impacts that they have throughout the world. So, good reading, good information. And lastly, of course, if you disagree, feel free, not a problem. Have something to back it up, but if you disagree, feel free to leave a comment below or to email me directly.